Newsfirst, Newsline.
Hello there, a very good morning and welcome to another edition of Newsline, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team. Well, of course, currently the whole country or the whole world, over 1/3 of the world's population is on lockdown due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Here in Sri Lanka, the situation is no different. Yesterday, the curfew was relaxed for 8 hours in 19 districts across the country, but however, it was reimposed and the country continues to remain under lockdown. And today, to discuss matters relating to the current situation of the country with regard to the COVID-19 outbreak here in Sri Lanka, we've got the Director of the Medical Research Institute, Dr. Jairwan Bandara. A very good morning, Doctor, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fallon. Nice to talk to you.
Doctor, now, the number one question on everybody's minds is, when will we be able to get back to our normal daily routines? When will this curfew be lifted, or when can this curfew be lifted? Not a specific date, but could you give us a time range, Doctor? 1 month, 2 months?
Well, that is the expectation of even my expectation.
Okay.
And maybe not in all Sri Lankans, but I guess in all world, that may be the greatest expectation to, get free of this condition.
Right.
But according to my understanding as a medical doctor, so I feel that it's a responsibility of the every nations. So because this infection is harvested. It is inside human bodies. So there is natural habitat, we know, but the thing is currently the people who are having infection are the culprit to distribute this infection.
Right.
So if both of us are having the infection, the dose of the virus in front of us is higher. If only so maybe about half of that the dosage of the viral infection in front of us. None of us are not infectious, I guess. I feel so.
You hope.
We hope. So we never know. The thing is, if none of us are having infection and no one has been over this area for last couple of hours, maybe about 6-8 hours.
From the last time it was disinfected.
Then after that until now, this place is safer. The problem is the people who are having infection are spreading this infection and harvesting this one. So that is why the danger of it. So currently the disease condition of this infection, that is called epidemiological condition, that is called at 3A level. That means it has started to spread into the society.
Right.
So when you are going to the society, no one knows that who is having the infection. So we have found last few days about asymptomatic few carriers. That is, they are carrying the infection with them and they are spreading infection, but no one knows who is the carrier until we test them. Right. That is the danger situation in this country. So we never know how many people has been infected by those few culprits. We should not call them as culprit, but still,
yes,
that is the danger of this.
Also, Doctor, with regard to testing, now we know that not only in Sri Lanka but in many countries, due to the complexity of this PCR test, the testing is only carried out on people who display symptoms of COVID-19. Now, as you quite rightly mentioned, certain people who didn't display symptoms have also been found to have been infected with the COVID-19 virus and moreover carrying it and spreading it amongst the general public. Now, recently we reported that the World Health Organization has recommended aggressive testing and a test approach. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, how practical is this approach, and are we really equipped to test as many people as we can here in Sri Lanka?
If you listen to and if you got a time to watch, the news channels, you saw how many machines are available in this country.
Right.
In hospital setup, the Ministry of Health, you get about 54 machines, and yet to come several machines, even for my institution. So there are about 3 or 4 machines to come in maybe a couple of weeks' time. So new machineries.
Right.
And we got to know that in the universities, you got about 56, and in private sector, about 6 to 8 machines. All together, maybe about 110 or odd machines are there. So from a single machine, you can perform more than 100 tests per day. So almost more than 1,005 to 2,000 tests we can perform.
Right.
The thing is, the scientific way of doing it, I mean, in the world also, until they get community spread, they don't do community screening.
Right.
So now we see in media, I saw last evening, I saw in USA, they are asking people to put down the shutter of the vehicle and take swabs from those people. So that is, I think, maybe about a couple of days before the Ministry of Health took a decision to do mass screening, but I don't know the method to declare in this media. But we also planning to go into that stage very soon, maybe a couple of days' time.
Also, doctor, there are instances where people who have been initially tested for the virus and they've been tested positive, but then later on they develop the virus and develop infection. So does that mean that one person will have to get tested more than once?
No, that is the way of behavior of this virus inside the human body. So when it comes to the body, within maybe a couple of days' time, you might not show any kind of symptoms or signs, or else you might not express your virus in the mucous membranes. So it takes time. If you test people very early, then you will not detect this virus. That may be the reason.
Oh, so by that time he would have been infected by the virus, but you can't detect it?
Yes, of course. He may have not got enough dose of viremia inside the body, so that may be one reason. Another thing, when you take the sample swab, if the person who is taking that sample is not taking it properly, I mean, if I am fear of you and getting infection, so I might take just a little, and maybe I will use very short time.
Okay.
So if somebody is very, I mean, efficient, clever, and dedicated to this one, that person will take good samples. So that also one factor, I mean, one limiting factor to get positive results. So anyway, always if somebody is having infection, if somebody is diagnosed for the COVID-19, we used to do testing several times. And even for this Chinese lady, my team in the MRI, they checked her sputum, not the sputum, mucous membrane, that's the swab several times. When she was negative for this swab for COVID-19, for consecutive 2 days, only we declared that she is infection free.
Right.
So that is how we confirm the cases that they are not having COVID-19 anymore, and they are cured.
Right. Doctor, then currently in Sri Lanka, we know that 38 patients have been cured.
Gone home.
They've got completely recovered and gone home. Unfortunately, 5 have passed away. There are a total of 178 confirmed cases here in Sri Lanka, 135 currently receiving medication. Doctor, is there a possibility that a person who has already gotten infected with the virus, recovered, gone home, being infected with the same virus all over again?
Well, this is a tricky virus. I mean, that virus can change his internal genome pattern.
Right.
That is the behavior of this virus. So, if the same strain he gets again, he will not get that infection because he has developed his own immunity against this virus. But if the genome is changed, of course, the mutated virus can reinfect that person. That is the behavior of virus. You have heard about the dengue. In Sri Lanka, you have 4 serotypes. So a person at one time you will get one strain, but the same strain, if you get the next time, you will not get infection. But the second strain, if you get, yes, you can get dengue again.
A different strain?
Different strain.
Okay.
But the same virus, different strain. They change their genome very fast. So that is why even corona has been in the world from 1969, I guess.
Right.
And the first person to find this virus is a Sri Lankan eminent professor, that is Professor Malik Piris.
Right.
So the problem is the severity and the symptoms, signs, and the effect for the human life. It's very dangerous.
Also, doctor, with the advent of the COVID-19 virus, not only here in Sri Lanka but across the world, there has been a lot of misinformation spreading. especially now when it comes to a virus like this. There is an old saying that says, prevention is better than cure.
Exactly.
And
what we do.
Yes, what we do exactly. But now we know for certain from confirmed sources, the World Health Organization, the medical authorities in Sri Lanka, that the recommended methods to prevent the spread of this virus is social distancing and following proper hygienic practices. But besides that, now I know personally, even at home, my parents and parents of my friends, they all recommend different things to be done, saying that this will prevent the virus. I know certain parents say, drink hot water, drink certain things like kottamalli and so on and so forth, a traditional medicine that are not been prescribed by doctors, but, it's kind of it's worked for all sorts of illnesses. Do these really make a difference?
Even I saw in media, Prince Charles has used some native medicines in their country. So there is no scientific and proven literature or any kind of document to give us some certificate on this. But I feel that it can help, because even the hot water and what is called the kottamalli and other native treatments will give you some very good comfort. And we have heard and we have read scientific articles that they have ability to improve the immune system and give some power to the immune system, which is needed for this combat this virus. So our immunity is the main thing that we need to attack this virus. So that is very important. So the bad thing is we don't have yet a medicine or medication or injection or tablet or anything to directly attack the virus. So whatever gives people the benefit, it's better to use it.
Okay. Doctor, also getting back to the subject of testing now, this morning we reported that there is a testing kit that has been discovered in India or manufactured in India that will help detect this virus in a short period of time. But unfortunately, the Indian government has put a halt to all the exports of items relating to the COVID-19 virus. Now, currently Sri Lanka has, as far as I know, one of these machines. How are the talks between the government and the government of India?
Well, that's a good question actually. So we got one that kind of machine from USA. One of the Sri Lankan eminent scientists there, he bought the documents. The problem is in so many places we are talking about these machines and technologies, but we get only the documents. That is the problem. So he brought us a document and we were very interested to have this machine, and we asked him to bring. And I saw that thing, the news also. And yesterday one of the student, maybe the PhD student from Marathon University with professor, and they also brought us some documents that they are also planning to develop these machines. Actually, these things are not previously was there in the market, so they are newly developing those things.
It's because COVID-19 and coronavirus were new words to the vocabulary since December last year.
Not for the world. I mean, to the Sri Lanka also, many inventions are going on. So several scientists and engineers develop respiratory supporting machines and monitoring machines, and I think test kits and the viral transport media that made in my institute, and many things are happening in this country. I think whole world will change.
Doctor, also now we know testing, again, as we keep on highlighting, is very important according to the World Health Organization as well. In the United States, to ramp up testing, President Donald Trump has used a Korean wartime act to order private institutions to construct essential items such as ventilators, testing kits, so on and so forth. Now, with Sri Lanka too, we know that the private sector has been contributing to this effort to fight the COVID-19 outbreak in various ways. But have there been any consultation, any talks? As far as I know, there aren't any draconian laws like that present here in Sri Lanka, where the president of the country can order a private institution to do something during this outbreak. But the relationship is of mutual importance, and has there been any discussions with the private sector to either ramp up the production of ventilators, bring them down, any sort of
in actual scenario, of course, I don't know about these kind of the laws or imposing I mean these kind of conditions to the private sector, but which I know is our quarantine law is about 100 centuries old one, and it has very good power to make people home quarantine or send them or look after them in the quarantine centers.
The Director General of Health Services
yes.
can order any private property to be taken as a quarantine center.
Yes, that is there. And I think Sri Lankan culture is a little different than the other Western or European culture. So I know, according to my knowledge, and I have had several discussions with many inventors. So they are doing this development. So and we saw that they are developing these ICU beds and many other instruments. So there is no problem if somebody is coming forward and doing good things to the society, so that definitely that part will be supported by the government.
Doctor, this is not a very popular opinion, but certain people are of the opinion, just to dismiss these misinformation, certain people are of the opinion that, you know, if you allow people to get infected with this virus, people will naturally develop their immune system, and then things will all be right.
Yeah, that was the expectation of UK, I guess, at the early stage, but they changed the plan of management.
After
even
the Prime Minister got infected.
Yes, after even USA, that was the plan. That is a well-known thing that is called herd immunity.
Okay.
The problem is the danger of this behavior of this virus, so we can't wait the people to develop herd immunity, and if we are allowing that to happen in the society, so we will see many deaths. So that will happen automatically, maybe about a couple of months' time. But we can't wait until that happens and get rid of this infection. So people, it's very deadly infection. So that is the danger of this.
And also it will overwhelm the hospital system here in the country, and then people who could have been saved if they had proper treatment in hospital will lose it.
Of course.
Also, Doctor, again, on the question of when can we return back to our normal lives, in what kind of a time period will this outbreak be brought under control in Sri Lanka?
Public has to understand the question is, the answer is with them. So if myself, I do not participate to spread this infection, if that responsibility can take by all the citizens in this country. So we can get rid of this very early, maybe over a couple of weeks' time. But if do not take that responsibility, and if we behave like culprits to, spread this infection, where can it be end? So we never know. So that is why government, health ministry, and whenever possible, whenever we get opportunity, we are telling people, please stay apart. At least 2 meters, not 1 meter actually. This is now, it has developed up to the airborne, has a airborne infection. It can go now about 1 or 2 meters ahead.
Right, so it doesn't no longer only spreads through droplets.
Yes, of course, it can, but still the new scientists understanding, and the papers are there. There are incidences. It has spread through there for several meters, maybe about 2-3 meters distance. So other thing, personal hygiene, as you correctly said at the beginning. So you have to use this personal hygiene. According to yesterday, there was a discussion that we see very hardly the other infections as well, because people has started hand hygiene.
Right.
So it's a very good thing to have a society. Then we don't get the other infections, diarrhea and other respiratory infection and the other ailments. We don't see these days because people are practicing hand hygiene. So if people support the government and the Ministry of Health in this way for another couple of weeks, so earlier than the other countries recovered or recovering, we could be able to recover from this bad infection. So it's actually the government and the Ministry of Health educating people, giving them support, and developing supportive services, and developing treatment modalities, and trying to do maximum. I don't think we are losing any kind of concentration about this combating this infection. But public has to take responsibility more than the government if they want to get rid of this infection very early.
Also, Doctor, we've heard a lot of reports, especially through media, about people who have either skipped the quarantine procedures, come to hospital and not reveal their proper symptoms. And there has been quite a lot of hate that has been directed towards these people, especially on social media and so on and so forth. But also it's important to note that there are many people who volunteer and come forward and say, you know, I've been to this country, please quarantine me. And these people, some of these people have not been registered and so forth, but they come forth because they care for the society. And the population of the people who really care and the people who don't care are quite disproportionate. But the population of people who care are quite high, but they're not spoken of too much because the focus is on the other end.
Well, that is, of course, I think we have to take that responsibility and highlight the good people more and encourage the culprits to not to behave like that. I guess it's the responsibility of all of us. So anyway, we know that in any society, in any environment, there are many good people and there are worse people as well. So actually the danger is if somebody is having this infection, that person can, within a day, the one person can infect more than 10 normal people.
So within a day?
Yes, right. It's a tenfold rise if they behave badly. So that is the danger. That is why you heard about one of the mother got infection from some rural area. But she has none of her family members, so she has not been in any unsafe places other than the common, she has gone to a common shop. So maybe that shop may have got infection from some infected person who is unknown. So that is the danger behavior of this infection. That is why we have to take a responsibility. And everyone who come out of the house has to take their responsibility that they should not take that infection to their belongings, family members. If you know that in this country we saw 5 deaths, 4 of them are little older, but one young fellow was also there. So that is the other aspect of this dangerous of this infection. So it can happen to anyone in this country. So it is the responsibility of people. The health system can help them. If they come to hospital, we can take maximum effort and do maximum kind of treatment modalities and we can do our best to cure them, and we can educate them. We can support them to get rid of this infection. But the thing is, the getting infection is my own responsibility, not to get infection or getting the infection. So public has a major role to play in this game.
Also, Doctor, what is the message that you would give out to people who feel a bit insecure about revealing the symptoms of this virus? Now, we know that there were certain people who tried to seek medical treatment in private hospitals. Can they do that if they don't really want to go to a government hospital? And
of course, yes. The thing is, no point of fearing of this infection or getting this infection and hiding somewhere and spreading this among the same family members or to the society. That is actually bad habit of people. So no point of doing that, because if you are getting you get the infection. So if you develop all the bad and deadly signs and symptoms, you have to come out of the hidden places.
Some people are of the opinion that, you know, this virus has only a mortality rate of about 4%. So even if I do have the symptoms, they think, you know, maybe I'm young, I have a good immune system, so I don't really need to seek treatment. I can just stay at home. Is that possible?
That is not impossible. But the thing is, you can spread into your parents.
Right.
And even we have seen in the world, many young people has died. So the behavior of this virus, no one knows exactly. So that is why we ask people to stay at home even after 14 days quarantine, even after go home. So I can tell you one good example. This Chinese lady has to stay for more than 26 days in the hospital. But the Sri Lankan guy who got the infection, he stayed only 12 days.
Right.
So that is the uncertain behavior of this virus.
Right.
So even though we confirm that you are not infective yet, so exactly, and with the confirmatory, I mean the evidence, we can't say this is the exact behavior of this virus, not to Sri Lankan, but in the world also the same. We find the Chinese people who are getting the reinfection.
Yes.
In the media we see this. So that is the danger of it. And other thing is, even before we have seen that many corona strains have been affecting the world. But the problem is, this infection we never know. The world has not declared good scientific evidence or details or literatures regarding the exact behavior of this virus. So that is the danger. So this is yet it's an unknown virus, this known virus with unknown behavior. So better to be safe at home.
Doctor, at the beginning of the program you said that community screening in Sri Lanka has not begun as yet, and you also said that in the US people have been asked to be tested while they're on the road even. But at what point would community testing be an option here in Sri Lanka?
That has been started from yesterday or day before yesterday. Okay. Actually, this is kind of scientific approach to control communicable diseases. So there are ways and means to do these things. No country or no scientific basis, whenever the health ministry wants to do this, we'll start today, we'll start tomorrow. There is no that kind of unscientific basis on this kind.
Right.
So that is of course epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health take decisions, and they are the expertise on this. There are scientific ways and means and margins to the data to start this community screening. So I think they have already started this one. So we'll see in the future.
When it comes to the community testing phase, is there anything that the general public should know? Should they come to the hospitals?
Whenever the government declare and government appeal that people has to come, or there are the ways to public health, the way to educate public, because Sri Lanka is the only country is having the best community health serving system. That's our immunization system is the world best, and this time also because of our community health treatment system, that is surveillance system, is the best system. We could control this disease up to that level. Though the other countries, the developed countries failed, we didn't see that kind of death rate in this country because of the better aspect of our health system. So we hope so. So we hope so in the future as well. So that will be starting very soon.
Also, Doctor, a lot of people are speaking about this, the coronavirus curve, the curve of understanding the infections and all that, and hashtag flatten the curve is trending. Has Sri Lanka managed to flatten the curve?
I guess so. We feel that. But the thing is the prediction of the future, behaviors of this virus. So at the moment we have somewhat broken the chain of spreading.
Okay.
And that means we have flattened the curve. But to be happy with that, and we have to work some more time.
And the irresponsible actions of one person can reverse all of this progress.
All of this, yes.
We have made.
Yes, that can come as a, the reverse. That can revert back to that same person's family or same person in future if they behave badly. So that is the worst part of this. So none of us can just palm off our responsibility. None of us can neglect our responsibility. Everyone in this country has to take the responsibility to combat this bad virus.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jairuwan Bandara, the Director of the Medical Research Institute, for joining us this morning. And, as Dr. Jairuwan Bandara said, it is the responsibility of us all when it comes to health professionals like Dr. Jairuwan Bandara himself. The responsibility on you is quite higher. because you are in the front lines of the battle. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the citizens of this country have no responsibility whatsoever. They need to stay at home. You need to social distance. You need to practice proper hygienic conditions, and you need to come forth and reveal the truth to health authorities regarding the symptoms that you're suffering, if you are suffering with any of those symptoms, so that they can work their magic and get this country out of this crisis that we're currently in. Once again, thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
Sharon Bandara, for joining us on our show this morning. Thank you very much to all our viewers out there for tuning in. We will continue to keep you up to date on the very recent unfoldings regarding the COVID-19 outbreak here in Sri Lanka. Do stay at home, stay safe, take care, and God bless.
Newsfirst, Newsline.